sure we're live? These guys told me I got to wear sunglasses tonight because they want the lights this bright. So I broke out my switchbacks from Leupold. Boy, those are bright lights. I can't do this in sunglasses, guys. What's the deal, man? All right, can I take these off?
Yeah.
All right. Jeez, you guys are, you're killing me, man. Anyhow, welcome to episode 86 of Elk Talk Live, brought to you by Onyx Hunt. Also brought to you by Bowtech. We're going to talk about this bow right here because we get so many questions. Brought to you by Leupold.com. GoHunt.com, use promo code Randy, get $50 of store credit when you sign up for the Insider, and get in the drawing for the Wyoming Commissioner's Tag. Gerber gear right here. Now we're going to talk about these too. Let's see, Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, use promo code Randy. All these things, use promo code Randy and you're going to save some money. That's what I'm going to tell you. Tight spot, ripcord, black gold, all kinds of stuff. So, we get so many questions about what my archery setup is. We're going to start with this right here. This is last year's bow. It's one of my favorite bows of all time. It's a Realm SR6. And they sent me this one. You can see it's still got the tags on it. Which one is this, the X? No, this is the Revolt itself. And this year it comes with the deadlock system where you can tune it and lock it and off you go. So I'm going to get this one set up, but because we've had the whole COVID thing for the last 2 months, I haven't been able to get out to the bow shop. And if you're in Bozeman, Montana or nearby, the bow shop to go to is Big Sky Archery. My buddies Bill and Gabe will take care of you. They're an authorized Bowtech dealer and they know everything there is about archery. So I'm going to start with the essentials. I use a trigger release. This is a Carter Quickie. I have had this for 7 or 8 years now, I think. I love it. Love how you can set that as super, just like fine hair trigger and just touch that thing and boink. I'm going to talk about arrows next because so many people ask about arrows. This is my tight spot quiver that is removable. So this tight spot I've had since, I think Moby Dick was still swimming around as a minnow when I had that. Oh, look at that. There's some grouse feathers on that one, huh? I don't know, that you can tell that you probably can't see that, but there's the remnants of grouse feathers on that judo point. So I always carry one of these, and then I carry 4 of these. This here is a bone broadhead right there, 125 grain. It is absolutely lethal. I mean, it does serious business. I am so impressed with those things. And Jarrett, who makes these, he's a really, really good guy. I don't know if he has a promo code Randy. Hey, Jarrett, if you don't, give him a promo code Randy for some reason. I don't know. Now he's going to call me and say, what are you doing, Newberg? My draw length is 29 inches. So this here is a 340 full metal jacket. I'm trying to read, I think it's 11 point something grains per inch. Yeah, 11.3. This whole setup here, including the vanes, the knock, the insert, the arrow, is about, I think the last time I checked was 498, something like that, total grains. It is so accurate. I know if something goes snare wire, I'm the problem. If you aren't familiar with tight spot quivers, they are very modular. They are very, very quiet. And you put your arrow in there and no rattles, none of that kind of stuff. And you can put it on your bow in all kinds of different ways. It just clamps onto the side here like this. Put that down. You always want to make sure though that I try to get mine as close as possible. So you can almost use it as a form of a stabilizer where you can adjust this right here to have it more that way, more this way. I have mine pretty close to upright, but I want to make sure, I always got to make sure down here in the cams and wheels and cables that I've got enough clearance, but I want it as close to there as I can get, and then I cinch it down. And you don't want to rattle in your quiver. So there's companies that make small game points too, but I tend to lose those more than I lose judo points because I shoot at a lot of grouse. And if I lose one of those, I have no problem burning a brand new perfect broadhead at a grouse. Doesn't bother me in the least to shoot a grouse with that. That's a good use of a broadhead. This sight here is a black gold Ascent. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to put it by the camera. It's a 3-pin. And I'm going to turn it this way. Maybe the camera guy can show you what it looks like from that direction. And that is set at 20, 30, and 40. I'm not one of those long bomb guys. You can put a tape right here if you want 50, 60, 70, 80 or whatever. I don't have a tape on that one. When I'm out, I don't take those kind of shots at animals. So I don't need that tape. In my backyard, I do a lot of shooting at longer ranges, and people are like, well, how do you do that with your, without a tape or with only what you have there? After a while, you kind of get the hang of what the gap should be. And then let's see, then right here is my ripcord rest. One of the originals of the fall away rests right there. Super cool. And this one here is set for 62 pounds, if I remember right. I got it written down on here somewhere. Anyhow, I'm getting about 243, 244 feet per second out of that with that heavier arrow setup. And it's way, way more capable than I am. Extremely capable. And if ever I have a concern, an issue, something isn't going right, I head out to my pro shop. And I know some of you watching might be really, really good bow technicians. I'm not, but I know guys who are out at Big Sky Archery, so that's where I go. I think that covers everything about that bow. This one will be set up exactly the same way. I see it is set right now for 61 pounds. When you get old like me and your shoulders are shot, 60 pounds is more than adequate. I'll take same sight, I'll pop that quiver off, put it on here. Obviously I'll put a new rest on here. This will be my backup bow for this season. And I think you have one of my other backup bows, right? Mm-hmm. And Dale has my other backup bow. So they're really not my backup bows when the camera guys steal them and take them out to Big Sky Archery and get them set up for themselves rather than me. So, oh well. Let's see. What else we want to talk about? All right. So I think it was David asked questions about these new Leupold eyewear. This is the switchback model. And we got to talking about it before he turned the camera on. And these are USA stuff. This is made, designed, assembled, everything here in the USA. And if you see the gold ring on any Leupold product, you know it's made in Portland, Oregon. So they got all kinds of them out there on their website. Great American company employing hundreds and hundreds of great American people. So go and check them out if you would. Let's see. Boy, you guys, I'm surprised that anybody, I'll be honest, folks. I'm always surprised that anyone even tunes in to listen to anything I have to say, especially when there's this many questions. So, Willie Randolph asks, I drew a Unit 16B New Mexico rifle tag, which is the wilderness area of southwest New Mexico. It starts October 17th. Do you think there may be some post-rut activity with minor bugling? In Arizona, I've seen that. I would say you're exactly right. It's going to be mostly post-rut, and there's going to be some bugling activity. Most of the bugling activity is going to be the younger bulls. The older bulls have been like, get the gig's up. You know what? I don't want to hang around here and get shot. I saw old Fred last year. He was sitting there playing his flute for an extra week, and he got a bullet. Yeah, I'm heading out. So you'll see him in the post-rut mode by that time. We'll be down there in New Mexico for an October 17th opener. Not because I drew a tag, but we have this win-a-hunt with Randy sweepstakes every year that we do at the Elk Foundation. And the winner of the sweepstakes drew his first choice in New Mexico. So we'll be down there that same period. And I suspect we're going to be hunting a post-rut pattern, canyons, deep, ugly, nasty, blow-down places. But there will be a slight amount of bugling. And I think the elk that we see bugling or hear bugling, if we do get to see them, will be younger bulls, anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5-year-old bulls. So, oh, let's see. Huber asks, when researching over-the-counter units, what factor is more important to you? A higher percentage of public land with lower success rates, or higher success rates and a very low percentage of public land? I'm asking because I can find where numbers like this are generated with the Go Hunt Insider. Good question. I always go with a higher percentage of public land, even if the success rates are lower, and here's why. Very often in these units that have a huge amount of private land, they have high success rates because they're usually in some sort of outfitted or exclusive access situation. So the success rates are going to be higher. So you really got to look at that. I mean, my preference is high percent of public land and a high success rate. That's what I'm really looking for, but that doesn't always exist. AZP Ball asks, how do you think the current situation with the COVID-19 will impact hunting and applications? Those are two, I think, the effect will be, let's discuss them in two things. Applications. I was of the belief that applications would go way down with the COVID thing. They did not go down in Colorado. They actually were up some percentage. Surprised the bejeebers out of me. Nevada last week was their deadline, May 4th. And I talked to some people who are involved with the Nevada system, and they said, we are getting inundated. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But maybe that's the case. I was reading the Minneapolis Star-Tribune newspaper on Monday. Fishing license sales in Minnesota are up 41% this year. So I'm sitting there thinking about all this stuff that, you know what? You start hearing all these rumors about food supply and the security of our food systems. And people are looking around like, well, I'm going to do something, and I'm maybe going to go do social distancing. Oh, dang, I didn't wear it. Elk Foundation sent me a shirt. It says hunting and social distancing. If you want to buy one, go to rmef.org/social distancing. Yeah, there you go. No charge for that advice. But I think the point of that is that people are saying, you know what, being outdoors, it's healthy, it's good on the mind, it gets us away from all the negative stuff of the news and social media and everything else, and people are going to start doing more of it. So I think applications might actually be higher. As counterintuitive as that sounds, as tenuous as everybody's financial situation is. But I'd go back to 2008. Some of you may not, some of you might be too young to remember the financial crash of 2008. That's when these platforms started. I started these in September of 2008. The stock market crashed 6 weeks later. And then 2008, 9, and 10, hunting license sales went up during that period of time. So it wouldn't surprise me if applications actually go up. How do I think it's going to impact hunting? That's a really good question. We, right now, our office, we've got Plan A and Plan B. Plan A is we'll be able to go out do the thing we always do, hunt numerous states across the West, show all these public land adventures. I'm starting to get worried that some of these states, if they get the second spike of infections, they're going to shut things down. And we'll know about that in probably August or September sometime if there is a second spike. And if that's the case, I think it's going to significantly impact hunting seasons. And so our plan B is nothing but Montana. You'll see us hunting grouse and rabbits and birds and ducks and white-tailed does and antelope and elk and mule deer. And well, I know I'm gonna draw my sheep tag this year. I mean, my odds are like 0.8% or something. So you'll get to see that. Marcus says he's gonna draw a mountain goat tag this year. No, I'm kind of joking, but it could be a significant impact. You go to eastern Montana right now, and these little towns of eastern Montana, and I hear it's the same in some of these other rural communities, they're like, hey, don't bring your virus to us. They don't have the resources to handle it. They don't have the medical infrastructure, so it could really affect hunting seasons. I guess time's gonna tell. We don't really know, but we'll know soon enough. Oh, Chris asks, if given a choice to hunt the Colorado archery season, would you go the week before the muzzleloader season or the week of the muzzleloader season in an over-the-counter unit? Because there will be plenty of pressure anyway in a over-the-counter unit. So one of the weird things in Colorado is that in a lot of these units, they let the muzzleloader hunters come for, I think it's 8 or 9 days, right in the middle of September. And so you're out there archery hunting, you hear boom. Well, the muzzleloader. You're having to deal with other people out there with a firearm. I've never hunted archery elk in Colorado, so I can't really say. But if I was planning it, what I would do is I'd go the week before. Just probably going to be less activity. I don't have to worry about I'm calling and, got this elk coming in, or the elk are now a little more educated because the firearms, the muzzleloaders have been going off. So that's what I do. I might be completely wrong. Someone else who has done it might have a completely different idea. The reason I think you're considering going the week of muzzleloader season is that's right in the peak rut. That's like September 17th through the 25th or something like that. So I can see the reason why you might want to go there. So Randon Grant asks, I'm a new archery shooter. I was reading about all of your stuff. Is Black Gold Sights still in a Montana company? Yep, they're right out here about 9 miles from where I'm sitting right now. Montana Black Gold is out there by the airport. And then what about Tight Spot? Tight Spot Quivers is about 3 miles away from Black Gold's office. And they put a lot of it together anymore. And then Ripcord is Keith and those guys are down in Dillon, Montana. So yeah, they're based right here in Montana. These guys, they help me out so much. I have to admit, Dusty, Phil, all you guys out there at Black Gold and associated companies, you guys bail me out, right? I'm sure you guys see me walk in there like, here comes Newberg again. What are we going to do with this guy? But they're great companies based right here in Montana, and those guys live the life. They see it, they do it. You can pretty much take it to the bank, whatever they say. Carl asks, since you've had LASIX, which I had LASIX in 2007, 13 years ago, do you find that your vision changes when you are at higher altitudes? I do not. He says, I had radial keratotomy and have found that it happens if I'm at high altitudes for about a week. I don't have that problem. I do have this problem. Because I do so much computer work in a CPA office that my right eye has adjusted for close up. My left eye is still 2020, maybe even 2015 far away distance. But if I go like this, that elk is going to get away. If I go like this, not going to get away. But here's the complication. So I'm right-handed. In my right eye, these pins, oh man, they're just perfectly clear. Even right out to here, it's like, okay, the pins are clear, but the target's starting to get a little blurry every year. A little bit blurrier, a little bit blurrier. Okay, I kind of squint my eye. Now the target's clear, but the pin is slightly blurry, which is why I no longer have a 50 or 60 yard tape or pin on my bow. I accept the fact that I'm getting old. And someone told me that there's some sort of magnifier or cheater glass that you can put in your peep. I might have to go to that. Right now, one of the things I've been able to do a lot of in the social distancing period is a whole lot of shooting out at my archery range that I have set up in my yard. And it's still working really good at 40 yards. And that's all I need. Let's see. What's my opinion on cow elk decoys when hunting the rut? Worth it or no? You know, I have them. I have some from Montana Decoy Company. And I have to fess up. I've really not given them a good effort. I used to carry them around a lot, but by the time I'm, getting all set up with my bow, everything else, it got to be too big of a pain in the bottom. Especially with we're filming and everything else is just one more thing. Now I know some guys who hunt solo and they swear by decoys. They'll go over, set up the decoy when they hear the elk's out there about 80, 100, 120 yards, and they'll call right from the cow or the decoy, and then they'll move. And as the bull comes in, the sound was where the decoy was. The decoy is still there. The bull sees the decoy, and the hunter's over here downwind, and it'll work for him. So I'm probably not the person that that should answer that question. Would I trade my CPA license for a sheep tag? All day, every day. I am such a crappy CPA anymore. Anyhow, my wife's looking for a good accountant. And yeah, if you told me, Randy, you got to retire and hang up your sheepskin, not even a question. Man, the only thing I wouldn't trade for a sheep tag would be my wife. I'd trade all these employees just so they know where they are on the priority list. My wife is way, way up there. I can't believe I said that. Let's see. Hunting season is distance. If it isn't, I feel bad for you. Isn't that the truth? Let's see. Are the Mystery Ranch Oeid bags waterproof? You know, that's a good question. I don't know that for sure. I always keep them inside my pack. Huh. I'd have to ask them. I don't know that. Oh, don't forget, Wyoming, someone asked a Wyoming question there, it's what made me think of it, is the Nevada deadline already passed on Monday. The date to change your Wyoming elk application is Friday, May 8th. So, they just released, I can't believe I'm going to say this. So, I always look at what the final approved numbers are, and I go in and adjust my application if I can. A lot of people just do their application and, oh, well, same as last year. Well, the quotas get moved up and down, and the season dates sometimes get adjusted. Wyoming approved all their final quotas in the end of April. It's out there on their website. You might want to go look at them, and you might want to go and adjust your application before Friday. Again, no charge for that advice. Oregon, if you apply in Oregon, that deadline is May 15th, coming up next. When would that be? A week from Friday. And Idaho is June 5th. So take advantage of those opportunities if you haven't drawn a tag already. All right, this one's going to be Pat Williamson says, Randy, you always say, don't leave elk to find elk. That's true. I always say that. I'm hunting post-rut third week of October in Oregon, seeing elk all over, just none with horns. Relocate or stick to the same area. If you don't have a cow tag, relocate. If all you have is a bull tag and you're not seeing any bulls, you're not seeing an elk that you can shoot. So the bulls are somewhere else because they're in the post-rut phase. Post-rut phase, the elk split. The cows go one direction, the bulls go another. So yeah, if all you're seeing is cows, move. You're not leaving, well, you're leaving cows to look for bulls. That's okay. Don't leave bulls to look for other bulls, or don't leave cows to look for other cows. Maybe we should refine how we say that. Generally we say, don't leave elk to find elk. Let's see, are we going to do any gear giveaways? Oh yeah, this is going to be the summer of gear giveaways. We're working on them right now. So we want to know more about the audience. So you're going to be able pretty soon to go to our forum, Hunt Talk forum, or if you're on our email list, we're going to be sending people emails and putting out on Facebook, Instagram, Hunt Talk, YouTube, asking if you'll take a survey. And just for taking a survey, you'll be in all kinds of drawings and goodies. And so, yeah. And then we're going to do the Win a Hunt with Randy with the Elk Foundation this fall sometime. They're in charge of that. I just smile and show up and say, hey, you want to go hunting? So there will be that one. Let's see. George asks, George Culpepper, is your Gerber knife still on track for release next month? Yeah. Here's the final packaging. Early June, you'll be able to get this, which is the DTS, or the dual tool system, with this tool you see right down here. And then here's the other one, the EBS, the exchange blade system. So yeah, you'll be able to get them at gerbergear.com. Go there, use promo code Randy, save 20%. Anything you buy at gerbergear.com, use promo code Randy and they'll give you 20% off. How's that, huh? Let's see. You guys are so funny. Oh, nothing here in Wyoming. Move along, move along. Nothing to see here. Wyoming has some of the most unbelievable elk hunting. It's I think there's 3 states that really deserve a lot of credit in how they manage their wildlife. I'm gonna lump these 3 as kind of the top tier in my mind. Wyoming, Arizona, and Nevada. Wyoming provides super quality elk hunting in terms of both age class and success rates. And they do it on a lot of public land. They've really done a good job. Nevada has very marginal habitat. Everyone thinks of Nevada as Las Vegas, but Nevada has the Great Basin Desert. Very arid, but very high mountain ranges in a lot of places. What Nevada does in terms of quality of an experience and quality of wildlife, with the marginal habitat that they have to work with all of the invasive plant species, all the feral horses, all that, they do an amazing job. Arizona does a super, super good job of balancing opportunity and quality. Somehow they've figured out systems and hunts, how to stagger them and do stuff. Those are 3 states that really stick out in my mind. And I'm sure the guy who said, move along, nothing to see here in Wyoming, he's going to be like, shut up, Newberg. But it's, I'm impressed with Wyoming. Let's see. Oh, someone asks about our merchandise and our hats. So if you go to shop.randynewberg.com, again, use promo code Randy, right? I think you said, what is it, 10%? 20. 20? 20 for Elk Talk tonight. Oh, tonight? And does RJ know that?
He told me just now.
Just now, okay. 20% off for how long? For the next, for like tonight.
Elk Talk.
For Elk Talk.
Yeah.
20% off Big Hank hats. all of our merchandise, like the hook 'em, you cook 'em, and what do we got here? Oh, the public land, hunt like you own it shirt, all that stuff. See, I'm not in charge of merchandise. That's the crew. So that's why I don't know much about this. I apologize. But anyhow, someone was asking about where to get the hat. So, does Wyoming have over-the-counter tags? No, they don't. They have what's called a general tag for non-resident, GEN. And it's good for a lot of the units. And you can hunt in most of those units. You can hunt archery September 1st through the 30th. And then the rifle seasons open usually sometime in October. So they have a general tag. It's easier to draw, but it's not an over-the-counter. What does this mean, Dave? Someone's asked this before. When are you going to come out with dry fit t-shirts? What's a dry fit t-shirt?
It's like a synthetic shirt.
Oh, I don't know, Dave. You're going to have to email RJ at onyourownadventures.com. Email RJ. He's the guy in charge of merchandise. So a couple people have asked that. I don't know what I'm sorry, I'm slow. What states do I plan on hunting this year? Elk. I plan on hunting Montana. And so far that's it. I am going to buy an Idaho over-the-counter tag, and I'm going on an archery elk hunt in September. But that's probably about the extent of what my elk tags will be. Let's see. What do I like hunting better? With my rifle or my bow? Yes. How's that? I can't distinguish. I get as excited as with one as I do with the other. You reach a point where you realize how lucky you are to live in the United States and how lucky you are to have all this public land to go and hunt, and it doesn't really matter that much to you. I know some people get really hung up on, oh, this unit or that state or whatever. No, I just want to go. So you give me a tag and I'm as happy as can be. So let's see, how do I get on your email list? You know, I think at randynewberg.com, I think that we have a link there where you can sign up for our email list. If not, we better get with the program. Yeah, at the bottom of randynewberg.com, sign up below. We need to update that. Yeah. Anyhow, we're getting ready to update all this. You'll get on our email list real soon when we start doing all these surveys. You can opt into the email list. Are you filming new seasons of Fresh Tracks? We hope so. We're going to try. If they let us travel, we're going to be doing that for sure. Either that or these guys are going to be looking for jobs.
Montana.
There you go. When will the next giveaway be? I'd say probably in about 2 weeks would be my guess. Maybe next week sometime. So, you guys are way too funny. What do we got? A bunch of comedians tonight, or what's the deal here? They really want me to stick my neck out there. Oh man, Clay is asking a really controversial question. Do you think wild horse populations should be managed via hunting? No, I don't. I think wild horses should be managed. We are anywhere, depending on the state and the location, anywhere from 3 to 5 times what was agreed to in the Wild Horse and Burro Act. And it is decimating the habitat for native species. But I don't want hunters to be used as the tool to go clean up someone else's mess. We didn't create this mess. Someone else get out there and you depopulate those horses. And think about what kind of a PR, public relations train wreck it would be for hunting if agencies came and said, we want you guys to be the cleanup method for wild horses, feral horses. No, I'm with you. I want them managed. I want their numbers brought down to whatever was agreed to in the Wild Horse and Burro Act 40 years ago or 35 years ago. But I don't want hunters to be the ones that have to do the dirty work. So, let's see. Oregon. Yeah. Oregon. My son lives in Oregon. He called me the other day. He's like, Dad, I'm trying to figure out this Oregon stuff. Are we going or not? I'm like, you get it figured out, I'll be there. So those of you asking questions about whether or not I'm going to be in Oregon this fall, it's dependent upon a guy named Matthew Newberg to figure that out. So I think we're having a bit of chicken and egg there. He's saying, are you coming? If so, I'll figure it out. I'm saying if you figure it out, I'll be there. So who's on first, right? So what is this? Do I do e-scouting videos for other animals besides elk, like bear or deer? No, I won't be. And the reason being is if you go watch all of our e-scouting videos out on this YouTube channel, the same principle applies. I don't care what species it is. It's the same principle I use when I'm e-scouting for deer, for antelope, for bear, you name it. It's what is the need that that species has at the time I'm going to be hunting them. So I got to learn a lot about the biology of that species, the ecology of it, the physiology, all the things of what are they going to eat, when's their breeding period, what are their needs. And then I do the same thing I do with elk. I say, all right, what period of time am I going to be hunting this species? Say it's antelope. Okay, it's late September, peak rut for them. All right, it's breeding. I got to go find where the does are. Well, the does are going to be in the best habitat, the best feed. Well, I go find the best feed that I know antelope like, whether it's forbs, whether it's really good sage, whatever. Okay, there's all these herds of does. I know there's going to be bucks there. So I use the same system no matter the species. Actually, if you've listened to some of my talks about where I came up with that idea, I brought that idea to hunting from how I applied it to walleye fishing. Because I started thinking about how is it that I can catch walleyes pretty much everywhere I go, but I can't find an elk? Well, the reason is I grew up fishing walleyes since I was really, really small. So I just intuitively knew so much about them. I knew where they were going to be in May versus June versus July versus October because they were in different parts of the lake because they were there to satisfy a different need. Well, maybe I should take that same idea and apply it to elk hunting. And that's how I came up with the 5 periods of elk hunting and how we do this whole e-scouting approach. So, how big of a refund will I get from Wyoming after they announce their draw results? Well, I'm getting a really big refund because I didn't draw anything in the bison draw. So I'm getting all that money back. But I hope I don't get any refund when the whole thing happens related to the elk draw. I think we find out on the 22nd of May, something like that. Oh, all right, I got to talk about this. Randy, you keep talking about the book Alcan Ecology, written by Jack Ward Thomas. I have emailed the Wildlife Management Institute and they've told me the book is no longer in print. And yes, Chris and Matt at WMI, they emailed me this week and said, Randy, we're getting inundated with requests for the book and it's out of print and we don't have any plans to reprint it. I'm like, oh no. I loaned out my 2 copies and they've disappeared. They did tell me that someday down the road they're going to try to digitize a lot of their publications. So if you want this, what I think is the best elk book ever written, by far, you're going to have to find it on Craigslist, Amazon, eBay, something like that. And some of you have emailed me and said, hey Randy, on Amazon they want $400 for that book. I'm like, go see if you can rent it from your library or something. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm glad someone brought that up because it's been a big pain for people not being able to get that. Yeah, right there. So where's that at? It's $450 now that it's out of print. Whew. Holy smokes. But anyhow, it's the best elk book ever written. I can't remember when it came into print, but it was sometime in the 90s, if I remember right, late 80s, early 90s, and it became my elk hunting Bible. So if you can get your hands on one, sounds like you might want to keep it. Or like I said, hopefully your library has it. What is my recommendation for total arrow weight for elk? I think I just mentioned that when I walked through what my arrow setup is right here. This is, I'd say, 500 grains plus or minus. And I'm gonna embark on something here that's gonna get all kinds of people fired up. I have no use, when it comes to elk, I have no use for mechanical broadheads. You'll see that you've never seen me use a mechanical. This is a 2-blade right here. I want something that gives me complete penetration, hopefully a complete pass-through. I don't want that to go in here and then when the blade expands, it turns into a cork. So the arrow just acts like a cork. I don't want blades that have to expand and some of the mechanical energy is absorbed just in the expansion. I want something that's got a very sharp point, whether it's like sharp because it's pointy, or like this because it's so razor sharp right on the end. So when it hits that hair and that hide, it is just cutting right through it. I'm not a big fan of stuff that punctures, that's, you know, not that sharp of a point, because again, you're losing kinetic energy when the mechanical energy is just absorbed right there. So I can't say from personal experience because I've never shot a mechanical head, but I've heard way too many stories about people who shot mechanical heads and they had a bad outcome with elk. And until you've shot an elk, you really don't understand the difference between deer, elk, and antelope. Deer and antelope have a body cavity that wide. An elk has a body cavity that wide. And it's a lot of muscle, a lot of bone, a lot of just mass of tendon and tissue, and it eats up arrows. And so I could still make mistakes with this, but I want to do everything I possibly can to eliminate the likelihood of a problem. And that's why I don't use mechanical heads. I mean, Idaho, you can't even use mechanical heads. So I know what to say. It's how I feel. And I think we owe it to the animals to use equipment that we think is absolutely the absolute best likelihood of a positive outcome. So, would hunting California be something you would consider? I've thought about it, but kind of an idea of how we develop what content we're going to show. We try to say, what does our audience want to see? So we have a pretty good feel based on all questions like we're getting tonight, and we do this a lot. I have the big Hunt Talk forum, hunttalk.com. I go and read all those threads. And the majority of our audience wants to see hunting that is affordable and accessible. And if you're going to travel to the West to hunt, affordable is relative, right? But going and doing it on public land by yourself is always far less expensive than going with a full-blown, outfitted, really a great hunt, but it's just going to cost you a lot of money. So we know what our audience kind of likes, and we know where they're willing to travel to do certain things. Our audience likes elk more than anything. The worst elk episode we've ever aired has way more views than our best deer or antelope episode. It's just how much people like to see our elk hunts. So that goes into it, all right? The majority of our audience is not from the West Coast. So if our audience, if we were showing them hunting in California, they'd have to drive through all of this elk and deer hunting, Colorado, drive through Utah, drive through Nevada to get to California. How many people are going to do that? Not many. So that's why we probably aren't going to show much as it relates to California, Washington, and even to some degree Oregon, even though Oregon's going to eventually get there because of its blacktails and its Roosevelts. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of what our whiteboard looks like. Our whiteboard is where we're like, all right, who's applying here, what species, what units, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then we find out what tags we drew. But it's very unlikely that California will end up on our list. So sorry about that. Nothing against California. Our #1 state for podcast downloads, California. Our #1 state for YouTube views, California. California people have to travel to hunt, and I think that's why they consume a lot of our media. So Sean says, don't worry about it. No game here in California anyway. What about bison episodes? You give me the tag, you'll get as many bison episodes as you'll give me tags for. That simple. I've never seen a bison hunt that I didn't want to go on. What new rifle caliber would I want to use? I'm not really one of those guys who chases the new, sexy, popular cartridges. Right here, this is pretty much what gets all of the work done for us. Nosler 308, this is Nosler trophy grade ammo, 308 Nosler Partition, 165 grain. Most of the elk you've seen me take in the last 8 years have been with this bullet right here. If it's not that, then you see me take them with, I grabbed the AccuBonds. Last year I shot these AccuBonds all year, and they're super, super great bullets. I killed my moose, an elk, a mule deer, what else? Caribou with this. 300 Win Mag in 180 grain Nosler AccuBond. I usually shoot Nosler E-tips in my 300 Win Mag. I move around a little bit. This year I'm probably just gonna, because I'm starting to shoot more and more of the non-lead ammo, the E-tips, I'm probably gonna go back to 300 Win Mag in 180 grain E-tip. And this is an E-tip. It's a Nosler 7mm08, 140 grain Nosler E-tip bullet. And last week, remember I said that I might do this year as one season, one rifle? If I do that, this is probably the cartridge it's going to be. It's I can't explain it. Why the 7mm08 and the 308 are as accurate as they are, I don't know why. But they are unbelievably accurate. I have never had a 300 Win Mag that was anything other than a tack driver. The reason I love these 3 cartridges right here is I have never owned a rifle, and I own many of them in each of these cartridges, chambered in each of them, and none of them have ever been anything short of super accurate, way more accurate than me. Now, I've had a 30-06, somewhat questionable. I have multiple 270s. 3 of them are super accurate, and one of them, for the life of me, I got rid of it. I sold it. And that was a long time ago. But I couldn't get the dang thing to shoot. That probably was just that rifle, not that cartridge. So, point of it being, I would go anywhere on the North American continent and hunt every species there is with this 300 Win Mag. It doesn't matter. Any place in the lower 48, I will go and hunt with these 308 or this 7mm08. They perform that well. So, if you see me this year doing the one season, one rifle, it's going to be one of these 2. And if I had to bet, probably going to be that 7mm08. I don't know why. Well, you look at the ballistic coefficient in the sectional density of the 284, the .284, which is the 7mm bullets. And it's excellent. Super accurate, performs super well. I don't know. It's I think I've got, what? I have 5 308s, and I think I have 5 7mm 08s. Do one of you guys have what do you have right now, Jonathan? You got what, my 7mm 08? Yeah, the first Howa Alpine mountain rifle ever. Serial number 1, it was the prototype that we spent 2 years with. That thing has killed so much stuff. And here we are 6 years later, it's out of production now. And that thing is still just doom, 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 doom. So, oh well. Let's see. Do I like a 30-30? I do, but it's not what I'm going to take out in the woods with me in the West here. Someone says, hey, I love the Nosler Partition. I'm with you. Why a non-lead bullet? Because they perform super, super well. I don't know if you've shot any of these E-tips. They are smoking. They load them a little bit hotter than the lead bullets. But if you've seen some of the elk that have been shot on our show with these E-tips, I mean, it's like, boom, boom, bang, flop, or DRT, drop right there, right? I mean, I've just had such great luck with this E-tip ammo, and you know, the bullet holds together. You got the bullet, if you do recover the bullet, usually you get complete pass-throughs, even on elk, even on shoulders of elk. You're gonna have bullet retentions that are ridiculously high. We're talking like well above 90%. So you don't end up with a lot of lead fragments in your meat, and it just works for me. So that's the reason why. I use what works for me. I mean, I'm not saying what I use is the only answer. Don't confuse that because I say it, that's the only answer. There's millions of solutions to all these problems we talk about. But people ask what I use and why I use them. It's just because what's worked for me after 30 years of Western hunting and 45 years of a lifetime of hunting. Just how it is. Oh, Charlie wants to know, have you gotten your own llama yet? I'm going down to pick him up as quick as this COVID thing straightens out. I'm not going to pick him up. It's like the first date. So Bo has already picked out, Randy, here is the llama we want you to have as your own. Okay, that's one I'll buy. And then they're going to use them if they're allowed to reopen and do all their backcountry pack trips this year. Our llama, and I think, so I'm letting too many cats out of the bag today. Gerber wants to know, they called me the other day, hey, we heard you're getting a llama. Yeah, I'm going to own one and I'm going to rent 3 others from my buddy Bo. And they said, well, what are you going to name it? I said, I don't know. Bo wanted to name him Randy. I'm like, well, that ain't going to work. Randy the hunter, Randy the llama. My wife said, no, there's too many Randys around here. We don't need a llama named Randy. So Gerber said, can we do a contest to name your llama? I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know what people would think about that. They probably think it's stupid, Newberg. But anyhow, yeah, I'm going to have my own llama. And he's going to be out doing the thing all summer with Bo's. So Bo Beatty of Wilderness Ridge Trail Llamas, he and Kirsten run the summer pack trips. And those llamas get so conditioned, so well trained. They're just unbelievable pack animals. So if my llama is running with them all summer, it's the best training he's ever going to get. And then this fall, Bo called me the other day and said, hey, I got 3 more. They're just blocked out. They're yours. So, yeah, I love llamas. Someone says, thoughts about Steve Rinella. You know, I'm not sure why people ask about Steve Rinella. I know Steve personally. I've known him a long time, and he's one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet. He is just, he's a great guy. He is great for hunting. He's great for food. I'm not sure what it is. It seems like if people build a profile or put themselves out there, that there's all of a sudden this doubt about who they are or what their motivations are. Well, you know, some would say Steve's platforms and our platforms compete. I don't think so. I think they complement, if anything. Steve's a great dude. Go watch his stuff, read his books, whatever. We need more Steve Rinellas, not less Steve Rinellas. So, and I don't get anything for saying that, other than Steve. If some of you reach out to him, he'll be like, Newberg, what are you doing, man? Someone asked. So, you know me. If, oh, someone says, name your llama Hank. What do you guys think?
I think
Hank.
I think he's got to have a wrestling name.
A wrestling name? Hank the Tank. Yeah. Or, oh, now that you're, we did a video about wrestling names. And did we ever come up with a name for you, Kyler? I don't think so. You weren't here then. Neither was Jonathan. Neither of you guys were here. We need to pull that one back out. Figure it out. Let's see. Someone says, I vote for the name Mustard. The last time I helped Bo auction off the naming rights for a llama, the guys at Go Hunt bought the naming rights, and they donated the naming rights money to backcountry hunters and anglers. And at the rendezvous, they had a big contest. Pete from the Rocky Mountain Goat Alliance gets up there, and he's having all these candidate names, and the audience would yell. And so through a process of elimination, Pete leads the audience to the final name called Pancake. Who in the hell would name a llama Pancake? I have no idea how they even came up with Pancake as a possibility. It's crazy. But, no. Ooh, Mean Gene. Whoo, Mean Gene Okerlund, man. I'm telling you, Mean Gene, I pity the fool. Yeah, right? Mean Gene, when I was growing up, he was the announcer. And my grandma, she thought it was so cool that I could imitate Mean Gene Okerlund. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Let's not go there. Gosh, I can't believe it. I just get excited about the old days watching my grandma with her cigarette in her hand yelling at the TV as she was watching wrestling. It just brings back good memories of being 8 years old. Outdoor Airs says, thank you for incorporating trapping in some of your episodes. That means a lot for conservation. Well, you know what? That's where I grew up. I grew up trapping. That's how I paid for college. Trapping is the most misunderstood, misaligned activity in the entire outdoors. And I am never going to back away from the fact that I trap, that I grew up trapping, that I know a lot of trappers. Because trapping made me such a better hunter. It taught me so much about reading sign and understanding animals. So, I mean, I'm a pretty simple dude. You know, with me, what you see is what you get. And I trap. If you don't like the fact that I trap, well, there's other folks out there, you know, slicked up Hollywood types with their hair dye, who go watch their hunting show. You know, whatever. But with my hunting show, you're going to get some trapping. And I appreciate the fact that you like it. Who knows? Maybe after that spiel, you're the only, maybe that'll be the only remaining viewer we have. But no, it's just important to who I am and where I came from and what I grew up doing. And I'm never going to forget that. So, oh, Thomas K., a llama named Sisu. Those of you, hey, you guys know what Sisu means? You did not grow up in a community of Finlanders then. No. So my grandmother, her family, so Do we have time for a little story about why I will never be peacefully disarmed? Okay. So my great-grandfather, Matthew, same name as my son, was living in Cortain, Finland in the early 1900s. And along comes the Russians. And if you wonder why I have zero trust of Russians, it's a family history, is the Russians would come to Finland, and this was about the time of the second Russification of Finland. And what they would do, they'd come to Finland and they'd disrupt everything, and they were trying to take over Finland without having to fight a war. And Finns would get conscripted into the Russian army, they'd get their property taken, all kinds of crazy things. So about this time, my great-grandfather says, you know what? I don't think I'm going to hang around here. And most of them were not well armed or unarmed. So he jumps on the boat, him and his wife, and they come to Sault Ste. Marie, cross through northern Michigan, and they settle in northern Minnesota. And a lot of Finns ended up in northern Minnesota and northern Michigan. My family was one of them. And that was a really traumatic deal for my grandfather and my great-grandfather, my great-grandmother, to have to leave their country that they grew up in, that all their roots were located, and have to leave there because they were not able to defend themselves. So he died 8 years before I was born, my great-grandfather. But his oldest daughter, my grandmother, Grandma Ethel, Grandma Newberg, born in 1915. She was the first of their children born here in the United States in Eveleth, Minnesota. She felt it very important that when I got to be about 10 years old, she's like, Randy, you're the age you need to know this. And she went on this whole thing about the family history of why they had to leave Finland and why her family will never be peaceably disarmed. She said her father could not believe he came to the greatest country in the world where he could own firearms. And I looked, my grandma's 25th wedding anniversary picture is taken in front of the firearms rack on the wall. I'm like, Grandma, what's up with that? We just had guns everywhere. There wasn't a place where you couldn't have a gun. So from her to my dad to me has passed this lesson. I'm only 2 generations removed from a person who had to leave his own country because he couldn't defend himself. And I'm never going to be that person. So, what does that have to do with Sisu? If you go and research, type in Sisu right now if you're in front of your computer, and it will come up. It's a Finn term for having chutzpah, character, spine, that you don't give up. You got Sisu. And when you're about 3 years old, if you grew up in a Finn community, the greatest comment you could ever get is if someone said, boy, that little guy there, he's got Sisu. And it just became a term. They brought it over from Finland, I'm sure. So anyhow, that's really cool. Sisu, S-I-S-U. Maybe that's what we should name him. I'm sorry for such a tangent about my family history, but it's just how I am. It cracks me up that some people are like, Newberg, I'm not sure where you stand on the Second Amendment. I'm like, you need to come to my house, pal. I got more firearms, I got more ammunition, and if I never hunted a day again in my life, I'm still gonna have all that ammo and all those firearms because I can. And because my great-grandfather wasn't as well armed as I was, and he had to leave his country. I ain't leaving. These 2 camera guys over here, they've not heard that story before. They're looking at me like, man, I think this guy is about ready to lose it. Did you guys know you work for such a crazy nut?
Yes.
Oh, Kyle was right away. Yep, I knew that. I knew you were that way.
Yes.
Anyhow, I'm sorry, folks, for the tangent there. Don't know if it, I don't know if it made any sense, but I'm pretty proud of my family coming from Finland. I'm proud that my great-grandfather came here, did the American dream, and everything that my grandmother told me about him was he thought it was the greatest country in the world, and I feel the same way. I mean, look at me. I'm just a knucklehead who grew up in the North Woods, and I get to go and hunt. Yeah, I got to do some tax returns. I got to make some spending money, and enough for, as my wife calls, you got to go to the CPA firm and work for a while because we need enough money for bait and bullets. That's kind of our abbreviation for spending money, bait and bullets, because that's a big part of our budget. It's just a great country, and here I am. So, how did we get on that? Oh, somebody knew I was Finn and they put in Sisu. That's how we got there. So Renee says, I think Sisu is the winning name for the llama. You know, I've never heard Sisu used as a name, but maybe we need to start a new trend, right? It would, if his name was Sisu, people would say, well, what's that name? And then it would give me a reason to explain how I ended up in America, why I'm so proud to live in America, and why I'm never going to be peaceably disarmed. There you have it. That's what you get from a square-headed Finlander. That's about all I got. Anything else that we got to talk about? Oh, so some of you are asking about drawings and prizes and sweepstakes. So be dialed into our channels because you're going to find out about them. I think we're going to do one every 2 weeks for the whole course of the summer. All of our sponsors are, yeah, let's do some of this. Let's brighten up at people's day. You know, it's been kind of a down in the dumps for 2 months. So what do you say we give away some stuff? So those will be out on Facebook, and that's Randy Newberg Hunter. Instagram, they'll be posted out there, Randy Newberg Hunter. We'll probably do some YouTube videos right here on this channel, so you'll know about them there. And Bowtech's probably going to be involved in some of it, so if you want to be involved with them, text Randy to 64600. And then all the sponsors of this podcast, Bowtech, Ripcord, Black Gold, the whole works. Gerber Gear, Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, Go Hunt, Onyx, all of them. I'm going to be asking all of them to pitch in stuff, and hopefully they will. If you have ideas of what you want us, I'm going to sneeze, what you want us to talk about next week, we're going to post the announcement next Wednesday that, hey, we're doing Elk Talk Live again. Your questions beforehand are really helpful. It helps guide a conversation that's not just random. Like today, we decided we're going to talk about archery gear because we had so many questions about archery stuff. Last week we started, I can't even remember what topic we started on last, bag dump. Yeah. Gerber knives. Maybe next week someone wants to know more about knives and every little detail that why 30 years of elk hunting went into 2 knife products. I don't know. Maybe we go into an in-depth about ammo. I'm open to whatever. Kyler raises his hand. Yes, sir.
How to mount a scope.
How to mount a scope. You want me to bring... You want me to do a live scope mounting? What if I screw it up? I've mounted, I bet you in my life between me, the crew, friends, I've mounted 50 scopes. Maybe that might even be conservative. So you want me to bring all of my mounting tools. I better call Leupold, see if they can get me a scope then. Well, all right, let's do it this way. When Leupold sends me the next set of scopes to mount on the new rifles for this season, so every year, folks, what ends up happening is companies want us using their latest and greatest. Even though I'm kind of a curmudgeon, I'm like, don't send me that. The stuff I have works great. No, you got to use the latest stuff. All right. So that's what I end up doing. A live scope mounting video. You know how much heat that puts on me, Kyler?
You can do it.
We're going to have to brighten this place up because with my my bad vision and getting older, I'm going to need more light to be doing those little screws. And being able to read my torque wrench. All right, there you go. I don't know, folks. I'm not sure if people would want to see us mount a scope. Who would want to see? I mean, why would they want to see us mount a scope? They could go watch it on our YouTube video.
They could.
Okay. Well, Jaka says new hunters and shooters would love to see you mount a scope and sight it in. Wow. Okay. Oh, someone wants to see a tour of my safe. Oh no. None of that. That's like Zone 51. What's that place outside of Vegas? Area 50? Area 51? Yeah. Not going there. A gun tour. No, not going there. Let's see. Ryan Garcia tuned in late. Ryan, the book from the Wildlife Management Institute. I did a bit on that earlier. It's out of print, and they're going to try digitize it someday, but it's not coming back into hard copy print anytime soon. Cody wants to know, when are these knives coming out? They're coming out the first week of June. You'll be able to pre-order them. So, did we cover it, folks? You think we got it good? All right. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here. What's that, Kyler? Oh, I thought he's talking to me. Sorry. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. Stay healthy. Hang in there. We're going to get through this. Pretty soon we're going to all be out hunting and fishing, social distancing, just like the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Go to rmef.org/social distancing. Buy one of their hats or one of their t-shirts, and you know you're supporting public access for hunters. Thanks for watching.